Good to see you safe. Now, let's think up something to discuss. Just tell me what piques your interest. Aha! Is that the sigil of Cainhurst? I've heard tell of Cainhurst nobles and their amusingly pompous invitations. Wonderful. I thank you profusely. I will depart immediately, but first, a token of my gratitude. Ah, I feel my master's hand at work. Praise the good blood, and let us cleanse these tarnished streets.
Hello, and welcome back to Bloodborne. This is part 5 of our Beast Cutter run. Last time we went through Castle Cainhurst and the Nightmare Frontier. We also finished up Eileen the Crow's quest, getting her badge, and we got the Cainhurst badge also. Though, because of time constraints, we didn't get to finish Alfred's quest, so that's what we're doing now. You see, after beating Martyr Ligarius in Castle Cainhurst, you can get the unopened summons, and once you get your hands on that, you can give it to Alfred here, and then you can run all the way back, and then you can teleport to the end of Castle Cainhurst to get this.
Master, look! I've done it! I've done it! I've smashed and pounded and grounded this rotten siren into fleshy pink pulp. There, you filthy monstrosity! What good's your immortality now? Try stirring up trouble in this sorry state. All mangled and twisted, with every inside on the outside for all the world to see.
So here, his armor and weapon have the, goop on them, and as someone who's wearing the Butcher set right now, I can really appreciate that. And I kind of want that for myself. Though, I'm not gonna kill him. Not this time. Now, normally I kill him to get his stuff, but not this time. This time I'm just gonna grab the Jester, and I suppose we can grab this as well. You don't really need that unless you want to bring Queen Annalise back, but we can grab it just to show what it does. Now, upon doing that, or upon getting the badge, you can get Ligarius's wheel. And he uses Ludwig's rifle, which we got a while ago. But upon completing his quest, you can buy the gold Ardio. I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't know. But that's the final piece of the Executioner set, if you want that. But I figured now we can head here, back to Yharnam. And we can start making our way through this area. So, immediately off to the side, there's a little chunk. And these enemies are kind of fun, because they bring something new to the table. Even though they're the basic enemies you saw way back in Central Yharnam. You see, if you kill them, they keep respawning until you kill this bell-ringing woman. Because she keeps respawning them. And so you have to take her out in order to take the rest of them out. And I didn't show it this time, so maybe I'll show it another time. But I believe killing her also makes them weaker. Like, gives them less health. Because you typically, like, 2 to 3 shot them when she's still alive. But 1 shot them once she's dead. But yeah, that's just a neat little thing. But continuing on, because the bell-ringing woman continuously respawns the enemies, it's generally best to just run past them and beeline straight for the bell-ringing woman, assuming you know where she is. And it's pretty easy to find most of them because you can hear the bell ringing, and outside of like 1, maybe 2 of them, they're not really hidden, so pretty easy to find. There we get air, so not the best rune, but it's not bad. It's definitely not useless. Just not one of my personal favorites. And you can probably tell because I forgot to show it at the time. But I believe it has something to do with visceral attacks. Which, considering how they're easier in Bloodborne than in most of the other Souls games, pretty good. But here you want to move over to the right and drop down, because this is the hidden bell-ringing woman. And if you don't know where this one is, that section can be a bit of a pain. So hopefully that helps. And here you also get the upper cathedral key for an optional area, which is pretty nice. Though, you may have to be a bit careful trying to get out of this room. But also in here, in this chest, is another hunter tool. This one being the tiny tonitrus. Which, yes, the tonitrus is a weapon, and this is like a variation of that. But only useful as a hunter tool. You can't actually wield it as a weapon. Though it is kind of fun to see. But that hidden bell-ringing woman is responsible for all of these enemies. So if you want to take out this little courtyard area, you need to deal with her. But here we can get another chunk. Which chunks are pretty rare and very useful, so always happy to see that. And I didn't kind of point it out, but yes, there's a giant laser beam. It always follows the same path, so if it doesn't hit you in one spot once, it won't hit you in that spot ever. So no need to worry about that. But continuing on, a little skittery guy that gives 2 chunks and a lamp. Now, if you grab the lamp first, the little skittery guy has a chance of despawning, so I go for the skittery first. But here, there's a gunner, 2 dogs, and down here in this corner is the bell-ringing woman. And as you can see, the gunner and dogs have not respawned because they're not coming after me. So they don't respawn immediately. There is a small grace period. So take that as you will. But moving on, something about this may seem familiar. And we've gotten this lamp before, though it's now destroyed. And here, this is where we got the moon rune. But there's now 3 hunters here. And if you go down this staircase, then you can walk up and get a free backstab onto them. But I'm not gonna do that this time. I'm not going to fight those 3 hunters at all this run. Instead, I'm gonna go through this little back section. Because, yes, that is a reskinned version of an old enemy, and it is horrifying. But that's not what we're here for. We are here for 2 chunks and a boss. Because down this little drop, there's a summon. And as I've said before, something that I'm doing for at least Bloodborne and Dark Souls 3 is for each summon, I'm limiting myself to bringing them in 3 times, so I'm going to have to use them strategically for when I have weaker weapons. Which, Beast Cutter, very good, especially against bigger enemies like Paarl, so not concerned about bringing them in this time. But if Paarl is very fast and very aggressive, then they don't hit super hard. They have a few attacks that hit hard, but for the most part, they're more about speed. But if you hit hard, you can keep them pinned down and keep the electricity off of them by knocking them down. And that can definitely help you out a lot. So as you can see, I'm missing some swings here. I think that's just because I'm not used to how the Beast Cutter swings yet. So that's probably a me problem. But here, we get the Spark Hunter badge. And I should not have picked up this lamp. And you'll see why in a minute. But beating them, you can open this door, which brings us back to Old Yharnam, where we can then run forward, and you may notice where we are. Like, yeah, obviously we're in Old Yharnam, but you can probably tell where exactly in Old Yharnam we are. You see, we take this U-turn and something just died. Don't know what that was, but okay. Anyways, we can climb up this ladder, and at the top of this, just to the left, is where we took that hunter fight. Like a third of the way through the area. And then up this ladder and up forward there's another ladder where we can then find Jura, the person who was shooting us with the chain gun. And there I showed the Bolt Hunter mark, which is why I shouldn't have grabbed the lamp, because grabbing that lamp means Bolt Hunter mark will send us there instead of the good lamp. But anyways, Jura.
Well, well. How did you get in here? It's no matter. What brings you to Old Yharnam? I've no interest in matters further up, but you must not disturb this place. The beasts do not venture above, and mean no harm to anyone. If you still insist on hunting them, then I will hunt you first. You understand me?
Well, considering I'm using the Beast Cutter and wearing the Butcher set, obviously I'm gonna spare him, but only for this one area. Only this area.
Yes, very good. I no longer dream, but I was once a hunter too. There's nothing more horrific than a hunt. In case you fail to realize, the things you hunt, they're not beasts. They're people. One day you will see. It's time you got going. But first, a farewell gift. I have no use for it anyway.
And that gets us the Powder Keg Hunter badge, along with a new gesture. And we could beast roar him off, but I'll let him live. I think I'll let a lot of people live this run, despite having the butcher set. But heading back to the dream, we can check out what that gets us. So, it gets us the rifle spear and the stake driver, the one we just got, and then the one we got from the boss gives us the tonitrus. And then I believe flame sprayer maybe from the one we just got. Not entirely sure though. It's been a bit. But you can also purchase his armor set from here, but only if you kill him. If you leave him alive, no armor set for you. Which is kinda sad, but one armor set per run, so
Well,
no use to us.
very well.
But ooh, these levels are getting expensive. Probably because I'm over leveled. But because of those chunks, we can now get one more upgrade. And we had just enough for it. But yeah, the whole over-leveled thing is, because I've done a lot of these. Like I said, I haven't done any of them on recording this time, but I might do Ailing Loran. Because I haven't done that yet. But I figured, since we got the upper cathedral key, might as well go to Cathedral Ward and go through that area now. So, we immediately take a right, and this door is only open if you beat Bloodstarved Beast, the boss of Old Yharnam. And here I throw on fire paper, because Upper Cathedral Ward has some beasts. Some of the, like, four-legged werewolf enemies. And I figured having some fire paper to increase our damage might be good, because they have a lot of health. So, yeah. Now here, normally the troll immediately follows you and goes inside with you, but they didn't, so... But even when they don't follow you inside, I've never seen them start out with that attack. That, like, running attack. But I guess that was just practice for the fast quit out. Which is very useful in Dark Souls 1, by the way. Especially with Anor Londo. So, here I was a little rusty. I was pretty slow with it, but it was still fast enough to keep me alive, and I will take that. And they can die. So, it was not good, but they are dead, and I am alive, and we will take that. And I will take no questions from the class. I mean, if you have a question, you can definitely ask, but I'll take no criticism. Because this is survival by any means necessary. So, Upper Cathedral Key, we get to Upper Cathedral Ward, and this area gives us a few familiar faces, as you can see here, but it also gives a few new faces. And as you can see, that guy with the lantern has some magic attacks. That's because of the whole 15 insight thing. But these little guys are new. And they are very weak and slow and not really a threat. And I figured because I'm over leveled and they don't give a lot of blood echoes, as you can see here, only 144, and because they're so slow, like you can run circles around them easily, we can just pick up Great Lake, a very good rune by the way, and I'll just leave them be, because you absolutely don't need to kill them. Because, as I said, they're very slow, no range, they don't follow you. There's no reason to kill them, so I won't. The birds are a bit of a different story, but little alien things are fine. Though they do give frenzy, so don't let them nom on you. Because frenzy hurts. But, you know what? Don't question reality. Just keep moving forward. And here, we don't mess with these enemies because they are very dangerous. But this one is standing on the choir set. Which, as I've mentioned before, I'm only... Well, I'm not limited to one armor set per run, but I'm not allowed to use an armor set twice. So I'm gonna save the choir set for another run. But even though we're not gonna use it this run, we can still sell it. So, still worth picking up, since it's not out of the way. But here, there's a chandelier, it drops, and we get 3 wolfies. And normally only one of them comes after me, but here all 3 came after, and I didn't feel like fighting them, at least not legit. So, if your weapon has range, this is a very good method to fight them. As I said, if you have questions, I will take them. I will not take criticisms, however, because this is the hunt, and we must kill the beast by any means necessary. Even if it means using a door as a shield. You know, you see, some people say that Bloodborne doesn't have shields, or that it discourages shields. But you just have to be a little creative with what you use as a shield. Sometimes that's a door, sometimes that's a wall. You know, different things are shields, but there are still shields in this game. You just have to think outside of the box. Use the environment a little bit. But here, protected by this funny looking guy, is the Cosmic Eye Watcher badge. And in case you weren't keeping count, that is the 4th badge we've picked up in this single part. 24 minutes in. So, yeah. Remember, we got the Wheel Hunter badge, something like that. We got the Spark Hunter badge, we got the Powder Keg Hunter badge, and then we got the Cosmic Eye badge. And there we get another 2 chunks. Not a badge, but still pretty good. And in case you don't know, badges just allow you to purchase more items at the shop. So, typically not super game-changing, but it can be useful, can get you some good items or equipment, new weapons, new armor sets, stuff like that. But here, you may notice that there's a lot of items in this hallway. Don't pick them up. They are a trap. At least not until you kill the enemy. After you kill the enemy and get this shortcut, which leads you back to the chandelier section, then you can pick up all the items. Because if you pick them up before killing the enemy, then they use the grab attack on you, and then it doesn't end well. But there you get the blindfold cap, which is for the choir set. So, there's the end of that. And here, we use a blue elixir, which turns us mostly invisible. And we can't see the torch, but we can see the fire from the torch, which is a thing. But this allows us to attack this guy without getting the attention of a second guy back there. Because there's a second guy here. And if you walk up without a blue elixir, then they'll aggro onto you when you try attacking the first one. So that's why we popped the item. And it is one of the very few instances of me actually using consumables in these games. But killing this one gets you the orphanage key and a shortcut. But before we look at that, there's a giant door here. And pushing that open, there's a weird standing mummy. Interacting with them gets you make contact, which is a gesture. It looks a little weird, but there's a thing to it. We will get to that thing later. And trust me, it will be useful. Especially if you intend to go into some of the later Chalice dungeons, or if you intend to go into New Game Plus. But the funny little guy we killed gets us the key to this door, and then here we can pull this lever to open this gigantic door that we're not even going to look at as it opens, but that's another shortcut that links the beginning of the area to the end. And here, there's another one of these enemies. You can find one of them, or a few of them, way back in Forbidden Woods, but I didn't go to that section. And here, yeah, we put on fire paper, but didn't use them because I don't really use consumable items all that much. Though, I will here, because this is the most difficult boss in the game. You can tell because there's a ton of enemies. And 15 enemies is a lot more difficult than one. So we take all of them out. And one of them doesn't have a health bar. That's because they do have a health bar, but it's at the bottom instead of above their heads. And yeah. So they turn big, and they get a funky hairdo, and they can also smack you. Because they're so cool and powerful, they don't even need a weapon. They'll just backhand you. But killing them gets you communion, which gives you +4 blood vials. And then we can roll through this, and then kill this thing because we're evil. Because we're evil and there's no other reason. But here, we get a Call Beyond, which is generally considered to be the most powerful hunter tool. Though it's very rarely used. Mostly because it has an arcane requirement of 40, which is very high for the least useful stat of this entire game, honestly. Here, you can summon Damien, but as I mentioned with Darkbeast Paarl, a little rule I have, at least for Bloodborne and Dark Souls 3, is I can only do each summon 3 times, so I have to save them for when I really need them. And Beast Cutter is very good, and so I don't feel like I need them. And so, I'm not gonna use them this time. But Abritas is pretty tough. Like, I said that Celestial Emissary is the hardest boss, but they're really a pushover, whereas Abritas is actually one of the hardest bosses. They have multiple attacks that can one-shot you or near one-shot you, and yeah, they also have attacks that build up Frenzy, which, if the Frenzy bar fully builds up, instantly takes, I believe, 70% of your health. And as you can see there, Frenzy keeps building up even after we hit it. And if we didn't get that stun there, that charge attack probably would have one-shot us. So, yeah. And as you can see, even though we're over-leveled, and put over half of our levels, at least, I don't think in this build, but in most of my builds, I put over half my levels into damage stats. And we have a consumable item to buff our damage. And we're getting a lot of headshots. It still took a while to bring the Abritas down. Because they're tough. Like, they have a lot of health. But that gets us the Great Is Chalice, which is the final of the 4 main chalice types between Thumeru, Hintertomb, Ailing Loran, and Is. But that, the, like, flesh item, the queenly flesh we picked up at the beginning, we can place that here, and that will bring Queen Annalise back to life. If you care about having her alive while still doing Alfred's quest, in case you want the best of both worlds. But heading on back, we can pop this, because why not? And we can sell some stuff, because I'm not gonna use the choir set, so we can get the money. And ooh, not that. Not gonna use any hunter tools besides Beast Roar, so we can sell all those. And nothing new here. Nope. I mean, maybe a consumable item, but we don't care about those. So we can just repair, make sure we can't upgrade anything, and then we can get some levels in.
Very well.
However many we can do. 2. Ooh. All of that for just 2 levels. But now we got Great Is Chalice, which I'm not gonna do that this run. I'll do it a different run. We can do it on a later run. For now, we can head back here. And remember, this is where we drop down onto the gunman. So we're gonna do that again, because he deserves it. That's what he gets for being a filthy range build. And heavy attack onto the troll, but we missed because silly Goofy. So we're just gonna run. We're not gonna worry about it. And like I said, I'm not gonna fight the 3 hunters this time because hi. Anyone else want to follow? Alright, well anyways, not gonna fight them because I don't feel like it. So we're just gonna take this side path that I opened when we came here earlier in the run. And you may notice that there's some new stuff that wasn't here when we came here last time. And yeah, this is the stuff that shows up once you hit the blood moon. Some enemies go away and are no longer here. Some enemies spawn in. And so this bell ringing woman is for these outside enemies. Not for the big Cthulhu thing we killed with the fire, but just for these normal human dudes. And you can tell when an enemy is being resurrected by one of the bell ringing women because they're all red. Whereas if you go and look at them in Central Yharnam, they're not all red. But here, enemy, and 2 chunks, because that guy is new. 5 bolt paper, you could get that before. So, this is new. And this enemy is new. And they get us 2 chunks. So, in case you didn't see that... Ow! Okay. Stop moving toward us. Just die. Okay, well anyways. So the chunks that we're picking up are from the bagged men. The, I believe they're called Snatchers, who were here before. But as you can tell, they're no longer here. Because presumably either the hunters inside the building or these enemies killed them. And now we're picking up their items. So, yeah, that's a neat bit of storytelling. But here's the Tonitrus. Now, when you kill... I mean, one, you could get it before, when you came here earlier. But you can get it for free here, or you can purchase it from getting the Spark Hunter badge from Darkbeast Paarl. Don't know why you'd want to buy it when you can get it for free in the same area, but to each their own, I suppose. But here are 3 Madmen's Knowledge, and if you came here earlier, that door would be closed. That door only opens once you hit the blood moon. But even with it being open now, I'm still not gonna go through it, because going through that way is kind of a death trap. It's not the worst possible option in the entire game. We're not even gonna let him touch the screen, he's just gonna die. But going through that doorway isn't the worst path, it's just that taking this elevator is simply better. And coming down here, mind you, those dogs do respawn because we haven't gotten their bell ringing woman yet, so we want to be fast about this. But 2 chunks, this flesh monstrosity of an enemy is protecting another chunk. So we can pick that up. And as you can see, the dogs still haven't respawned yet. So we're gonna grab this bath and appreciate that there is a little bit of leniency there. Now, that, the like whole black screen thing, here's the bell ringing woman, by the way, the final one of the area. But that black screen takes like 10 seconds. So I cut most of that out. But yeah, it took a solid 10 seconds. And at the time of the recording, I was actually super worried that my game crashed because I didn't remember it taking that long. But I don't know. But if you go down those stairs and then to the right, that's where the open door would be. But that would put you down on the street. And that would not be a good idea because of all those enemies. The monstrosity basket case enemies with all the limbs. And I don't want to do that because those enemies are pretty tough. And they have a long-range shooty attack. And I would much rather be in here with this blood gem, which gives you 18% damage, which is just an endgame gem. Like, I don't know how else to describe it. It is endgame gems. Because if you don't look at Chalice Dungeons, that is the best gem you can get, and there's only one other that's like it. And so, yeah. But if you go that way, or if you go up here and around up there, you can get 2 Madmen's knowledge, but I don't need Madmen's knowledge, so I'm not gonna do that. Here there's another summon, but again, I'm only doing 3 summons, or I can only do each summons 3 times as a little self-imposed rule for Bloodborne and Dark Souls 3. So, only summoning them when I need to. And One Reborn is a very, very easy boss. The hardest part about it is the run getting to the boss. So, now that we've entered the fog wall, the hard part is done. Unless we die. But I would never do that. I would never die. Not to the One Reborn. That is... I would never let the arrogance of them being easy bosses get to me. And end up getting stunned to death. Nah, that never happened. Now, if you're thinking that's foreshadowing, it's not. Because that didn't happen here. The reason why I'm saying that is because it happened a few runs ago. In a run I didn't record, but it was a little challenge run I did without recording. But it was a level 4 run, which is the lowest level you can get in Bloodborne. And it was pretty fun. It was surprisingly easy. Not because I'm good, because I'm not really, but I just thought that there'd be more, like, stamina troubles, and there just really wasn't. And I thought there'd be more troubles, like, using weapons, but there just weren't. But anyways, super easy boss out of the way, and here we can inspect the mummy, which brings us to the lecture building. Which the lecture building is where we started the last part, part 4. But this is the 2nd floor, which you can't reach. But I figured this is a pretty good place to end it. We went through Yharnam, we got the Upper Cathedral key, and we went through Upper Cathedral Ward. We got the Powder Keg Hunter badge, the Spark Hunter badge, the Wheel Hunter badge, and the Cosmic Eye Watcher badge. We also got the Tonitrus, the Choir set, the Yharnam set. We finished off Alfred's quest. We got an endgame gem. We beat the Daughter of the Cosmos, which is pretty neat. So, very good progress today. I'm pretty happy with this, and yeah.